Welcome back. On to our research team now with the trade setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and of course the setup on the FNO side of things as well. We're just coming on the back of a two-day recovery, but the GIFT Nifty currently is pointing to a gap down start of almost 200 points is what the implied open is suggesting, courtesy of the overnight developments on the tariff announcement along with the penalties where clarity is still awaited. And that will keep sectors in the spotlight. Of course, as Parikshit just mentioned, that the pharma sector exemption still stands and still under investigation. The tariffs are yet to be announced, but also keep an eye out on names like textile stocks, the auto component manufacturers, the shrimp feed exporters. They are the ones that were the most hit when the reciprocal tariffs were announced earlier in April. So we'll keep an eye out on all of these names. Of course, you can also keep an eye out on the IT names, especially because of the fact that it's a beaten down sector. It's been an underperformer so far, and the fact that the Nasdaq rallied overnight, and the fact that these 25% tariffs apply only to goods and not to services. So you may keep an eye out on the IT names as well. Of course, there are multiple other triggers that you need to watch out for today. There's the monthly FNO expiry that comes into play. We are under threat that this might be the first negative expiry after 4 positive ones. That is one trigger. Of course, there are 6 Nifty stocks. There are 10 FNO names that are reporting results today. So it's yet another earnings heavy day. There are earnings reactions to watch out for. And of course, the market sentiment that will have an impact on the ongoing IPOs as well. Remember, there are 6 mainboard IPOs also that are open for subscription. So keep an eye out on all of this. 24,900 on the upside remains the key hurdle. And of course, 24,598, which was the recent low, becomes an important level to watch for the Nifty. So for now, the implied open suggesting a 200-point downtick. It'd be interesting to see if we find a floor at the market open. We are still continuing to recover from the opening ticks. It'd be interesting to see how the monthly expiry pans out. Over to Upasna now for the stocks you need to keep an eye out for today. Upasna, good morning.
Good morning. Well, a lot of stocks on our radar on the back of result reaction. First up, let me start with Tata Steel. It has reported good set of numbers. Revenue above pole, margins stood at 13.9% versus 12.2% on year-on-year basis. Next up is M&M. Revenue and PAT above pole while it's a margin miss. Net profit up 32% year-on-year basis and revenue up almost 26% year-on-year basis. Next up is Interglobe Aviation. Number misses the estimates. Now revenue is up just about 4% on year-on-year basis. EBITDA margin stood at 28%, down about 170 basis points on year-on-year basis. Next up is IGL. If you look at the numbers, it's a slight miss versus the poll. Net profit up just about 2%, and we are seeing a flat revenue growth just about with a downtick of 0.2% on sequential basis. Hitachi Energy is the next one. It's a miss across the board. Revenue up 11.4% on a year-on-year basis, while margins stood at 10.5% versus the poll of 11.1%. Keynes Tech is the next one on our radar. The revenue is a miss, but it's a margin beat. Now, company is guiding for a 60% FY26 revenue growth, but it has reported a revenue growth in Q1 at just about 34%. EBITDA margin stood at 16.8 versus the poll of 14.6%, but still, it's a beat of about 350 basis points. Next up is CAMS. Net profit up just about 1% and revenue is up just about 7% on year-on-year basis. And lastly, Navin Fluorine has reported a good set of numbers with a revenue growth of 38% and margins stood at 28.5% versus 19.2% on year-on-year basis. So all in all, we'll be tracking all these stocks on our radar today.
Upasna, thank you for that update. And lastly, Mangalam joins in with cues from the FNO space. Mangalam, good morning.
Good morning. It's a very news-heavy session today. In fact, you had the Donald Trump announcement that came in 25% penalty, tariff plus penalty. And then after that, you have Microsoft and Meta, which gained about 9 to 10% overnight after hours, after good set of numbers coming in. Back home, you have the numbers of HUL, Maruti, Sun Pharma, Coal India, all in all 5 Nifty companies reporting their numbers, along with a lot of FNO companies as well. And then you have the July series expiry. So all of that coming together in today's trading session. And if you look at the Nifty series moves, July would probably be the first in the last 5 series that we will end lower, and more importantly, the first in the last many Julys that we will end lower. So for the last 4 series, the Nifty has put on gains. July, we're down almost 694 points, and the GIFT Nifty is indicating a 200-point downtick at the open itself. So those data points come up for you on the screen. Cash market volumes, the FI sold about 850 crores. DI has bought 1800 crores. In index futures, the FIs continue to sell 445 crores yesterday as well. Their long exposure is 14%. But all that isn't as material today, given the GIFT Nifty, today's low will be very crucial. Why do I say that? Because, historically, over the last month or two, the Nifty has bounced back from lows of 24,502 on June 3rd, 24,473 on June 13th, and last two couple of trading sessions as well, between 24,600 to 24,650 is where the market found support. Though on the way up, we might find some congestion around 24,950 and 24,900. That's what the call writers are, expecting. So 24,900 call comes up for you, as does the 24,850 call. But at the lower level, 24,650 thereabout is where support is expected, because the 24,750 put is fairly active in trade. RBL Bank is one stock I'll be watching out for among others, because this one on expiry day is out of F&O ban.
Interesting. Mangalam, thank you for that update.